Welcome to the ASTRALX Deep Dive. I'm Solarian Zephyr, your cosmic strategist. We're here, illuminating your path.
And I'm Lunaria Celine, your intuitive guide.
Oh.
Today, we bridge celestial wisdom.
To unlock your modern path, we're exploring a really fascinating piece of source material today.
We are. It's this detailed text outlining a potential cosmic blueprint for 2025.
Specifically focused on the energies and possible paths for a man with a Leo sun and Gemini rising. Quite a combo.
Definitely. And this text goes deep. It covers the core archetypes, the big planetary transits for the year, how those energies might, show up physically according to the source, historical patterns, even possible futures. It's pretty comprehensive.
So our mission here is to unpack all of that. We want to pull out the key insights, the challenges, the opportunities it presents. Think of us as helping you decode this potential map for navigating 2025.
Especially if you happen to have that Leo Sun, Gemini Rising profile. This is tailor-made for you, really.
Exactly. But even if that's not your specific chart, I think understanding how a text like this interprets these energies playing out.
Well, it offers some genuinely fascinating insights into how cosmic forces are seen to influence our individual journeys, right?
Absolutely. It's a great lens, regardless of your personal chart. So where do we start?
Let's dive into this unique blend the source describes. It starts with the core archetype, doesn't it?
It does, right at the heart of it. The text calls this combination the Crowned Communicator, or sometimes the Throne Room Oracle.
Okay, I like that. The Crowned Communicator. What's the fusion there?
It's described as this amazing blend of the Leo sun, which the source calls the Heartland Sovereign, that royal fire, creative authority, presence.
Yeah, the core radiance.
Yeah, fused with the Gemini rising, the celestial herald. That's the face you present, the natural ability to communicate, weave words, build bridges.
Or even cast spells, as the source puts it, which is intriguing. Mercurial brilliance meets royal fire. Yeah. And the source suggests that for 2025, their relationship is really dynamic. It's not just a passive blend. The Herald, the Gemini part, is seen as becoming the sovereign's official broadcaster.
Giving voice to that inner Leo authority.
Precisely. And the sovereign, the Leo heart, lends purpose, intention, that kind of divine weight to the Herald's natural quick wit and adaptability.
So it's not just talking fast or being clever, it's speaking with authority, with meaning behind the words.
You got it. The source sums it up as the monarch of meaning, architect of resonant realms. The idea is that your words aren't just chatter. They actually shape reality, build understanding, they create things.
Wow. Okay, so that's the core identity presented. How does the source see the big cosmic forces of 2025 impacting this Crowned Communicator?
Right. This is where it gets really specific. It highlights several key planetary transits and their effects, and it uses these interesting frames called quantum concepts, too.
Quantum concepts. Intriguing. Let's start with the first one.
First up is Pluto, the big transformer. It's moving through Aquarius, and for this profile, that lands in the 6th house. The source labels this transit the systems decoder.
Pluto in the 6th. Okay, Pluto brings intensity, breakdown, rebirth, and the 6th house. That's about a daily life, right?
Yeah.
Work, health, routines.
Exactly. Your day-to-day structures, your habits, how you serve, how you take care of yourself. So Pluto here, according to the source, is really about shattering outdated work routines, old health protocols. It's not gentle.
The deep-level transformation of the everyday.
Yeah. And the source ties it directly back to that Leo core. It says your creative leadership is being called, maybe even forced, to revolutionize these daily structures. It's not just about being more efficient. It's about infusing your unique sovereign fire into how you do your daily life. Your creative self needs a new container.
That makes sense. And the quantum concept linked to this.
It's called entangled sovereignty. The idea presented is that your core self-expression, that Leo radiance, is seen to have this immediate, almost instantaneous effect on the collective service models of the 6th house.
So changing your personal routines isn't just personal, it ripples outwards.
That's the idea. Your personal revolution in how you work or manage your health can somehow instantly rewire things on a bigger scale. A fascinating concept.
It really is. So for you listening, does this idea of revolutionizing your daily grind resonate? Feeling that pressure to break free from old ways, the source even asks how toxic routines might feel physically. Maybe gut tension, or even a tingling scalp signaling new ideas coming in.
Interesting somatic connections there.
Yeah. Okay, what's the next major transit the source highlights?
Neptune. Planet of dreams, illusion, but also inspiration. It's in Aries, hitting the 5th house for this profile. This one's called the creative baptism.
Neptune dissolves things. Aries brings a fiery warrior energy. And the fifth house is creativity, performance, romance, self-expression.
Right. So the source suggests Neptune here is dissolving creative blocks, but also those performative masks we wear. That Aries energy gives it a kind of warrior poet urgency. It's not passive dissolution.
And it forces a key question, according to the source.
Yes. For the Crowned Communicator, the question is, whose applause are you really chasing? Is it genuine, authentic self-expression bubbling up from your Leo heart? Or is it just a performance geared towards external validation?
The performer versus the authentic creator.
Yeah.
That tension. And the quantum concept here.
Wave-particle duality, it's asking.
Right.
Are you projecting a fixed, curated persona, the predictable particle you think others want? Or are you embodying your fluid, authentic self, the expansive wave that you simply are?
That's a powerful distinction. Like, are you showing an image or just being? Especially relevant for creativity and performance. So, for you listening, have you felt those creative blocks? Or maybe recognized times you're chasing the wrong applause? The source suggests this might feel like heavy eyelids, inspiration fatigue, or even cold feet, like a literal disconnect from creative joy.
Really specific physical cues suggested there.
Okay, who's next? Jupiter.
Yep, Jupiter, the great expander. It enters Gemini around May 25th, moving from the 4th house into that same 5th house. The source calls this the amplified hearth.
So Jupiter expands things. In the 4th, it might amplify home life, emotional security, your foundations, making the hearth feel bigger.
Exactly. But then, from late May onwards, it moves into the 5th, joining Neptune there, in the house of creativity, performance, romance. And the source makes a pretty bold claim here.
Which is?
That with Jupiter and Gemini in the 5th, your voice becomes a potent cultural force. Jupiter wants to expand, Gemini wants to communicate.
Combined with a Leo presence and Gemini Rising skill.
Wow, that sounds like a major amplification of the whole Crowned Communicator energy. Your message gets a serious boost.
That's how the source presents it, yes. A time for your creative expression to really take flight.
Okay, and there was one more major transit mention, Saturn.
Right. Saturn retrograde in Pisces, impacting the 3rd house, described as karmic linguistics.
Saturn brings lessons, structure, maybe reality checks. Pisces can be dreamy, dissolving boundaries. And the 3rd house is communication, learning, immediate environment. Correct. So, according to the source, Saturn retrograde here forces a serious look, a restructuring of your communication patterns, how you speak, listen, process information.
Given the Pisces influence, maybe blurring lines or illusions in communication?
Possibly. The source really emphasizes the need to discern truth from, let's say, ego-driven narratives or maybe wishful thinking in how you communicate. Saturn wants responsibility and clarity, and the retrograde suggests a time to review, rethink, perhaps face consequences or lessons from past communication habits.
Refining the message. So for you listening, where might communication feel a bit tricky or need more careful thought right now? Close relationships, daily chats, your public voice. The source implies it's a time for more conscious communication.
Definitely a call for discernment in the 3rd house.
And it's not just about these abstract energies. The source gets physical, talk about somatic astrology, how these things show up in the body.
Yes, treating the body as a royal transmitter, it gets quite specific. For the Gemini rising part, think upper body. Hands, arms, lungs, nervous system, maybe restless fingers when ideas are buzzing, or shallow breathing if you feel like you can't speak your mind.
And for the Leo Sun core?
Spine, heart, solar plexus, the power centers. Could be warmth in the chest when you're feeling inspired and expressive, or maybe stiffness in the spine or shoulders if you feel blocked, or like your leadership isn't being recognized.
And it connects the transits to feelings, too.
Yeah.
Like the Pluto transit.
Yeah, that Pluto in the 6th disrupting routines. The source suggests it might correlate with gut tension if you're resisting the change, or that tingling scalp thing again, like destiny downloads new insights breaking through.
Yeah, and the Neptune in the 5th, the creative blocks.
Could show up as those heavy eyelids, like being tired of performing, or the cold feet, literally feeling hesitant or cut off from creative flow and joy.
The source mentions some ways to engage with this, right? Like grounding techniques.
It does, briefly. Things like using lapis lazuli, maybe a posture mantra like, my spine channels sunlight for the Leo core, ginger tea for Pluto's metabolic fire, or even barefoot dancing for that 5th house creative flow.
But presented more as examples of how one might engage rather than strict instructions, paying attention to the body's signals as a form of self-awareness.
Exactly. Tools for working with the energy, if that resonates.
Now, the source highlights a particularly intense window in 2025, Mars in Leo.
Yes. From July 20th to September 4th, it calls this the Fire Triple Crown.
Okay, why triple?
Because you've got the Leo sun, Mars in Leo, and the inherent fire of the whole archetype all blazing together. It's described as a time you might feel volcanic heart heat or electric fingertips.
Sounds intense, like destiny igniting.
That's the vibe. The source suggests channeling this potent energy directly into performance or passionate speech, a real peak moment for expressing that sovereign fire through the Gemini voice.
The source also looks backwards, doesn't it? At historical examples.
It does, yeah. To give context, it mentions figures like Johnny Depp, F. Scott Fitzgerald, Mick Jagger.
Interesting mix. How do they fit the archetype?
The source presents them as potential examples of that blend, Leo's stage presence or charisma with Gemini's way with words or, quick-witted communication style. Depp's theatricality, Fitzgerald's sharp, glamorous writing, Jagger's performance and constant reinvention, different facets.
And cultural mirrors, too, like myths or fictional characters.
Right. Gatsby, grand performer. Kavoth from fantasy literature, the ultimate storyteller. David Bowie, the master of reinvention. Even the mythic Apollo, god of sun, music, poetry.
So the point is to show the archetype's enduring power and versatility across different fields.
Exactly. To underscore the potential impact this energy signature can have, as interpreted by the source.
The source also includes interactive elements, right? Like questions and rituals.
Yes. Pause and reflect, questions, and ritual blueprint ideas. Again, these are presented in the source as ways someone might actively engage with the themes.
Not instructions from us, but examples from the text. What kind of questions?
They're designed to make you think about how these energies play out personally, like where does my herald distract my sovereign's need for impact? Or thinking about Pluto, what servant narrative needs to burn? Or with Saturn, how can my words build kingdoms, not just ideas?
They sound quite probing. And the ritual ideas.
Things like a coronation of the word, ritual, maybe using symbolic items like gold candles or a lion figure to represent that Leo-Gemini fusion. Or a breath of the solar scribe exercise using posture and breath.
So the source seems to be encouraging active participation. Intentional impact, changing routines, building with words.
That's definitely the feeling, offering potential tools for working consciously with the described energies if that appeals to you.
Okay, looking forward now. The source lays out potential future paths or timelines for 2025.
Yes, it presents 3 potential outcomes, depending on how these energies are integrated or not. It's framed as being about the choices you make.
What's the first path?
The scattered charlatan. This is described as chasing novelty, using charm superficially, maybe flitting between things without real substance. The outcome, unfulfilled potential, basically, like a dazzling firework that leaves no light.
Ouch. Okay, path number 2.
The tyrant performer. This leans into the shadow side of Leo, demanding attention, silencing dissent, all about image and ego. The result is seen as isolation, creative dryness, hollow victories, a gold-plated echo chamber.
Not ideal. And the third path, the integrated one.
The throne room oracle. This is where it all comes together harmoniously. The source describes this as leading innovation with heart, creating art that liberates, building bridges with words, bridges of fire.
That sounds much more aligned with the archetype's potential.
Definitely. The source points to this as the path of cultural Renaissance leadership, where wisdom and charisma ignite positive change. It gets quite poetic, calling this integrated state a library whose books burst into constellations, manifestation based on authenticity.
And the source flags specific dates as being important.
It does, kind of like energetic hotspots. The Leo new moon around July 28th for new creative seeds. Jupiter entering Gemini May 25th, that communication expansion. The Aquarius full moon August 19th, maybe highlighting those 6th house changes.
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde in Leo around November 3rd, a time to review your self-expression. And Pluto going direct December 24th, suggesting forward momentum with those deep transformations.
Good dates to keep in mind if this resonates. So how does the source pull this all together at the end?
It has this final synthesis called the Oracle's Decree.
Sounds grand. What's the decree?
It declares 2025 as a sacred broadcast for this profile. It stresses you're not meant to choose between the Leo scepter and the Gemini quill. Instead, the source says, you are the living lexicon where that royal fire becomes revolutionary dialogue.
Wow. So embody both.
Exactly. And it urges you, based on the transits, let Pluto burn away the soul-draining routines. Let Neptune dissolve the performative masks. Let Jupiter make your home a creative stage and your creativity your true crown jewels.
It's a powerful call to authenticity, leadership, and conscious communication. based on the source's interpretation.
Very much so.
So as our cosmic journey concludes today, we've really taken a deep dive into this specific source material, looking at the potential it lays out for a Leo Sun, Gemini Rising man in 2025. From the core archetype, the transits, the somatic stuff, potential futures.
And the core message that comes through from this text is really about 2025 being a year for powerful, authentic communication, for sparking creative revolution in your daily life, and defining what heart-centered leadership means for you, integrating that fire and air.
Yeah. And whether this exact profile is yours or not, hopefully exploring this source gives you a sense of how these energetic influences are interpreted, the challenges, the possibilities. It really underscores the call for discernment, authenticity, and intentional action on your own path.
It's a framework, isn't it? A lens for navigating your own evolution and making conscious choices, inspired by how these energies are seen to flow.
Absolutely. So maybe a final thought for you listening, drawing from these themes. Consider how your own unique blend of energies, whatever they are, might be calling you right now. Where are you being asked to release old structures? How can you express your authentic creative power more courageously?
And how can your voice become a force for building something real and lasting, rather than just, performing for the moment?
Dive deeper into your unique path.
Request your email audio reading now. You can find the link right there in the description below.
And explore the episode resources and links for more insights too. All the details are waiting for you there.
Ignite. Think. Become.
Subscribe for Starlight Insights.